Hello, Will Franklin here again with Trinity River Vineyards. I want to talk about terraces today and hillside vineyards. You spend any time drinking wine, hanging out with viticulturists or winemakers or vignerons, they're going to tell you all about the hillside vineyards and what great wines they get from there. So what's the deal? Why is a hillside wine better than the wines of a flat? And that may not always be true, because what's really true is the grapes have to be grown in balance. They need balance, but they want to be on the side of struggling. If they struggle too much, you're going to get really bad wine. And so a really steep hillside with no soil and the wrong climate, not enough water, you're just not really going to get anything worthwhile there either. But in some locations, the weather can be just right on a very, very steep hillside. Germany and the Bacharach, where you have to have cable cars going up the side of the vineyards to even get in the vineyards. That climate is just right for that type of extreme soil and hillside. But everywhere else in the world, France and Burgundy, the hillsides around Beaune and Dijon, these hillsides right here in Mendocino, the terraced hillsides up at Willow Creek on the Garrett Ranch on Peach Tree Lane, these hillsides are perfect for grape growing, because in California, the soils are such and the weather is such that in the flats, if the soils are too rich and too deep, the plants can just be too vigorous and the grapes are too big, too healthy, and kind of watered down. Or the canopy grows so big and shades it out that you get too much vegetal flavors. It's not in balance. The soil is sort of too rich. Grapes don't want to be that rich and that vigorous. What you want then is, in most California soils, is some struggle. And to get that, you need the hillside, where over time the topsoils fall off, right? And they run off and they weather off. And so the soils are shallower on hillsides. Therefore, there's not as much soil holding water and nutrients. And therefore, the vigor of the vine is lower and a better balance for better grapes. The physiology of grapes is such that when you're struggling a little bit, you produce more compounds to fight herbivory and to resist drought, and those are complexities in grapes that you don't get without it. If you get too much water, you wash out nutrients and salts and minerals, from the soil. So a slightly struggling vine produces a smaller grape, more skin to berry ratio, meaning that's where all the good stuff is in the skins that give it color and flavor. And so we tend to really like, as winemakers, hillside vineyards, because they, in California at least, balance out the vines better. That doesn't mean a flat is a bad wine. Grapes that grow on the flat are bad wines. It's just you have to be more careful about the vigor. You have to manage it differently. And in some soils, it's actually the only place that grapes will grow is in the flat. So it's all very micro climate, micro locale dependent. But in general, the hillsides give you less vigor, and that gives you a more concentrated grape and a more complex wine. And that's why we love hillside vineyards in California. Look at that terraced vineyard. That's where the Trinity River 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon comes from, right there. It'll be released in about a year. And get it at trinityrivervineyards.com or at your local stores. Until next time, cheers.